Hello, it's Crystal Diaz here, back with another song tutorial. This time I am going to be teaching you how to sing a Mandarin song. Maybe you are somebody who enjoys karaoke, or you have always wanted to sing solo and you enjoy singing Mandarin songs, then this is definitely for you. This is also for you if you are a student of Mandarin and you want to improve your speaking skills or your Mandarin skills by singing, which is a fantastic way to learn languages actually. This song is originally by one of my favorite Taiwanese singers. Her name is A-Lin. She is an amazing singer. Not only does she have great technique, but she really knows how to use her voice stylistically, using her technique to support her stylistic choices. So I hope you will enjoy this tutorial. And of course, remember, as I always say, you are your best judge when it comes to what feels right in your voice. So if you are following along and you're trying to execute some of these notes and you're feeling a little strain or stress on the throat, then that is a high indicator that you are probably using your voice in a way that's not appropriate for you. So be mindful of that. Never feel like you have to force or push your voice or add volume unnecessarily to your voice in order to hit notes. You really do not need a lot of volume in order to sing with power. Whenever I teach this song or songs similar to this, one thing that students do ask me is, well, how can you sing lightly but still with power? And so that comes down still to this concept that I teach in my programs and I teach all my students, that I call anchor and lean. And so anchor and lean really is all about knowing how to direct your effort. In singing, effort is required. But if you are not intentional with how you are placing your effort, then your effort is going to be kind of haphazard, which normally means that you're going to be using a lot of throat muscles to try to get sounds out. And that's never going to be very sustainable in the long run. So even though we are going to be starting the song in a more understated, quieter, subtle way, it doesn't mean we are whispering, and it doesn't mean that we have no effort involved at all as we are singing. Effortless singing still requires effort. As you can see, there are two sets of phrase chunks. I call these phrase chunks, right? There's a 我不羡慕 is one phrase chunk, and 太阳 is one phrase chunk, a chunk of sound, we could say. And so even though we are singing in Chinese and it's really one word, like one syllable per word, in singing, it's actually quite important to learn how to link these Chinese words together in a way that's still clear and that is melodious. Okay, so we can, if we look at this, 我不羡慕, then in my mind, I'm thinking 我不 would be one pairing and 羡慕 would be a second pairing, if that makes sense. 我不羡慕. Because if I don't think of it that way, I can very easily approach this line as 我不羡慕太阳. And you could hear that that is just one word, one word, one word, one word. So now that we have these pairings figured out, what we can do is now add the anchor points. So the first anchoring would be 我 there. 我不羡慕. The second one would be on 羡 of 羡慕. 我不羡慕. So again, remember, anchoring is a term that I've created and developed for my program. If you want to learn more about that, I talk about it inside my free Kickstarter course, which you can access by going to mysinginglife.com. But the whole idea is that anchoring is about directing your effort and energy in singing down into your body. 我不羡慕. Take a breath and then anchor again. 太阳. Next line. 照不亮你. Can you hear how the 亮你, I'm leaning into that 亮, that sound. Take a breath. 过往有些黑暗. Can you hear how I'm anchoring in the first note? 有些, and then leaning into the 黑暗, 有些黑暗. 我们, another lean there on the 我们. 都一样. And then there's a da-da-da, 3 notes on the word yang. Yang. So as I have laid this out for you here and I'm showing you where the anchor points are, I want to remind you as well to still be mindful of that backspace. So you want to be making sure that you're still creating some space as you are singing. This may be very counterintuitive for, again, new singers, because it can feel a little strange feeling like you have to move your mouth a lot around so much. You don't actually need to move your mouth a whole lot, but you do need to create a little space so that acoustically the sound can come out without you feeling like you have to force the sound out. So for example, there's a big difference between this, 有些黑暗 woman. You can hear that it's a lot thinner sounding compared to something like this. 有些黑暗 woman. So you can hear that that sounds very different, right? And all I did was incorporate some of this, what I call backspace, into my singing. Essentially is learning to drop the jaw a little bit and create some space in my mouth acoustically so that the sound can come out in more of a rounder, fuller way.
我太嫉妒时光能离开的大方，不用开口也就无需躲藏。
Okay. Beautiful vocals here. As you can see, I've actually marked down the breath points here. Now, I'm just noticing as I'm listening to her actually that I don't think she's taking a breath even though there is a pause there. So let me show you what I mean. I feel like just based on this recording that she's doing this. 我太嫉妒时光. So I don't actually think she's taking a breath in between those parts. So this is an opportunity for you to explore and experiment with what feels right in your voice. If you want to do what she's doing and go 我太嫉妒时光, this is a little bit technically a little more challenging, but the benefits of that is there is a little bit of a lingering energy that happens as you are singing it that way. There almost is this feeling like you're not done yet, right? For a listener, that can be a great way to captivate your listener and hold on to their attention as you are singing through the phrase. But if that's technically challenging for you and you feel like you have troubles with controlling your airflow in this way, then just totally no problem, just break it up, right? 我太嫉妒时光. Break it up and breathe in between. Both ways are totally fine. 能离开的, lean on the 开的, take a breath. 大方, here you want to lean on the 方 of 大方. 大方, because the note goes up a little bit. So you want to make sure that you're not going to do something like this. 大方, and sort of throw the energy back. 大方, open your mouth out and lean down into that word. And then take a breath here. You're going to lean right on that first word. 不用开口, on the 不 and 开. 也就无事. Yeah and wu, we're going to do the anchor points there. 也就无事. Take a breath. And here you can bring the dynamics down a little bit. 多长, and extend the tongue a little bit. And if you want to extend that sound, then be sure to hold it on an ah vowel, ah shape in your mouth. 多长, as opposed to doing something like this. 多长. Can you see how I'm wanting to close up? I call this drift closing. Actually, in my students will know what that means. It's when our mouth is sort of like drifting closed into a closed position. 多长, and then we're trying to sustain, but the mouth is closing off. So that's called drift. I call that drift closing. Okay. So at this point, you can practice this first section on your own with the music, and when you are ready, you can come back to this video to continue on to the chorus.
有一种悲伤，是你的名字停留在我的过往，陪伴我呼吸，决定我微笑模样，无法遗忘。
So the highest note here in this particular line is a B4, this note here, which is smack dab in the middle of the first bridge in the female range. In the typical female range, that's the first bridge point here. So this can be tricky for students who are struggling with moving past that first bridge. And so I like to just take students there first and just be like, okay, let's just tackle the tough parts first, and then everything else will seem easy. And so one recommendation here is just to go straight here and think, you. We're going to take a U vowel, you. So we can use this as an exercise, you, to get comfortable with this particular note. So now we're going to go, you. Okay, so that's the melody of the line here. You. When you get comfortable, you feel like there's an alignment, there's a feeling of alignment there, there's a feeling of freedom there, you're not stuck in the throat. Now we put the words in. You 种悲伤. Right, so I'm mapping the experience of the exercise to the song. You 种悲伤. Right, I'm trying to match them together. And then now we've got that sorted. Let's add in the 有一, which is the first two words of this phrase. 有一种悲伤. Right, so there's still that nice elongated sound on the 种悲伤. For the next line, 是 and 你, I would link them as one pair of sound, like as one word. 是你的名字听, and lean on the word 听. So this will be very different if I were to sing it as separate words. It would sound more like this. 是你的名字停留在我的. So you can hear how that's very almost jaggedy in a way. And so that's why it's quite important to find these pairings of sounds so that you can find the flow of the song and bring out the melody of the song. 是你的名字停留在我的，在我. There's two notes in the word 在我的. The de goes back up to the same note as 在我的过往. Come back down on the word 过往. If you are okay to sing it as one line, you can totally do that. But if that feels like a struggle, then just break it up and take a breath before the 过往, before that one. Totally up to you. We come back up for the 陪伴我呼吸，决定我微笑模样. You can take a breath there before 模样or not if you want to, up to you. For this line of the chorus here, we're actually scaling through the female first bridge, so it can be a little tricky to navigate through. So the line is 无法遗忘. Right, so there's a big jump between the 无法遗, that goes kind of up, right? 遗忘, and then it comes back down. So I would actually just practice that jump up, that gap. practice navigating that gap. 法遗. See, I'm practicing that a few times to acclimatize to the feeling of that jump, right? And I'm telling myself, okay, this is not high. I'm bridging the gap in a way, right? If I don't sing it this way, it's very easy to do something like this. 法遗. You see how it's so easy to get stuck there because that's right in the middle of the female first bridge or the first transition point in the range. When you get comfortable with these two notes, you can add the next note after that, which is the 忘. 法遗忘. 3 notes coming down on the word 忘. 忘. 3 notes there. And now the second half of the chorus. 有一种悲伤，是笑着与你分开，思念却背对背张望。剩下倔强，剩下合照一张。Oh, I love how she blooms out into that 一张, and she blooms out into that nice solid vibrato sound there. The first line of the second half of the chorus is the same as the first. 有一种悲伤. Similar. Also find the pairings here, right? 是笑着. 是笑着. You can even think of those three words as one word. 是笑着与你分. Lean on the word 分. 分开思念却. Definitely lean on the word 却. 思念却. Take a breath. 背对背张望. The best way to practice that is to look at the vowels. Ya, ya. Use that ah vowel to encourage some backspace. That's what I call it anyway, some backspace in the acoustics of your mouth here. Yeah, yeah, 张望. That's going to help you to not sing it like this, for example, like this. 张望, and just kind of like closing up the sound. Okay, next line. 剩下倔强. I would definitely lean on the 剩下倔, sheng and 倔. 剩下和找. Same thing here. 找. You can hear that for me feels better than this. 剩下和找. So that feels like it's gonna get stuck, right? It doesn't feel as free. But if I go 剩下和找, 找, it brings in a more rounder, maybe warmer. That's maybe a better way to describe it. It brings in a more warmer tone when I do it that way. Last line is 一场. And if you want to sustain that note, again, hold it on that vowel of the word 张. So now that you've done the chorus, pause the video and go ahead and practice that with A-Lin or with the karaoke version if you want to. Let's look at that little sort of vocal run there, that little ad-lib part that she has in between this chorus and the next part of the song. So for the first set of oohs that A-Lin does here, it's ooh. Right, so if you try to visualize it as if it were like a mountain, ooh, it kind of bounces on that note, ooh, and then it comes down a little bit, ooh, 2 notes down, ooh, and it ducktails up. Okay, so let's try that again. Ooh. The next set is ooh. So straight note there. Ooh, come down. Ooh, and slide up. And then we're going to take a breath here. Ooh. That's the third set. And I would actually sing it as hoo-woo. Hoo-woo.
成为彼此的路，多向往，怎会失去方向
Okay, so here is, you can hear how dynamically she's building up. You can definitely hear the tone of her voice is intensifying, right? And that's appropriate for sure. And that's a great way to approach this, because we're letting the audience know that, hey, something interesting is going to happen. Wait for it. And of course, something does happen here, which is the whole song changes key here in this section. But let's break down that bridge. 成为, I would put that as a pairing. 成为彼此的路. 2 notes on the word 的路. Take a breath. 多向往. Use this opportunity here for these nice ah vowels to bring out some of that warmth in your tone if you would like to. 多向往, not 多向往. 怎会失去? Want to lean down on the word 失, ground down on that 失去方 I would have 2 notes there. 方向, and then ah vowel. You can bloom out into that ah vowel. 向, and then at the tail end there, you're going to have 2 notes down. So here's the exciting part of the song, right? This is the climactic moment of the song, and it's where the song changes key. It actually goes up by 1 semitone. So instead of going in the original key, which would be 有一种, we're going up to 有一种. Right, so here, and then there's some variations in the chorus as well, which we will get to in a second. But if you are going to perform this song, make sure you review this part and you familiarize yourself with this change key.
向往，怎会失去方向？有一种悲伤，
love how the background singers come in there. I love this part. Okay, so let's break that down. 有一种悲伤. The highest note here is an E flat 5. Okay, so that is verging into the second bridge of the typical female vocal range, the second bridge of the voice, or the second transition point in the voice. So that can be quite uncomfortable for some people. So as you know, I always say, let's tackle the hard part first, right? Make that part, tackle that, and everything else feels easier after that. So let's look at that note. This is the E flat 5. And let's look at the vowel. Let's just forget about the word. Let's find a vowel. Let's find an exercise that will help us to tackle this particular note. Yeah. Maybe just do that a few times and get comfortable with that ah vowel there. Yeah. Make sure your effort is going down into your body, not this. Yeah. We're not throwing it back into our throat, right? When you get comfortable with that, how that feels in the voice, then we put in the word. Yeah. Shang. Right, that's the note. When you get comfortable there, now you just got to add in the beginning parts, right? 有一种悲伤. Then we're going to take a breath. 4 notes here. 4 who's, okay? The last one is down, up, down. We stay up in that higher zone here. 留在我过往. The wa, it has a sustain, but there's also one additional note on the wa. It is actually 2 notes there. 留在我. It kind of dips down there. 留在我. And then it goes to the guo. 2 notes on the word guo. 留在我guo. So it's almost stepped down there. And she does it so fast, but it's really nice to do that actually, because what it actually does when you're listening to it, it kind of fills in the gaps between words. And so you have this continuous sound quality that is happening when you insert some vowels and additional notes between words like this. 留在我过往. And then 2 notes coming down on the word wang. For this line here, you can practice it the same way that I taught you in the previous chorus, which is to look at the high notes first, right? Look at the difficult part first. Wu fa yi, fa yi. Practice that. Wu fa yi wang. Whoa. Whoa has 4 notes in there. 有一种悲伤. Same as the first line, really. Next line here, there's a variation. So you want to be pairing up 是你义无反顾. So there are 3 pairs of sounds, right? 是你义无反顾. If we think about it that way, then it's easier to navigate and to be consistent as you are singing these phrases. 是你义无反顾. You can practice that a few times. Make sure you anchor down or lean into the gu of 反顾. 反顾让爱成为. 成为 is the next pairing as well. Lean on the word 为. 成为. Take a breath. 我身上的光. De, lean down on that one. 的光. 3 notes on the word 光. Take a breath. Anchor in the word 给. 给我温. On the 1 as well. 给我温暖. Take a breath. 却, lean on that one. 却不准我. You can extend that 准 a little bit. I believe she does that. 却不准我. Take a breath. 遗忘. Now that we've worked on that bridge to the change key part of the song, go ahead and practice that with the music. When you're ready, let's come back to work on the last section, which is it's kind of like an outro in a way, right? Because it just brings everything down a little bit. 却不准我遗忘。有一种悲伤，不想要与你分开，思念在背对背张望。你是所有，你是合照一张。So it kind of comes full circle, right? Because now the tonal texture that she's ending with is the same tonal texture that she started the song with, right? So it really does take you on this journey where we come full circle.
有一种悲伤.
Right, so I'm still leaning in here. You can hear I'm still going 中, and I'm still being mindful of the shaping of my vowels here too. So I'm not letting any of that go, but the intensity of the sound is much less now.
不想要与你分开.
So for here, I would actually link up the 不想 and also the 要与. I would put those together.
不想要与
as if it were one word, and leaning into the 分 of 分开 as well.
不想要与你分开思念
I think she extends on the 思念 and almost kind of glides down there.
思念才.
So you can hear when I'm adding that little glide there, it helps to make the melody a little softer as opposed to
思念才,
which sounds very blocky.
背对背张望, 你是所有.
You can see where the anchor points are, 你 and 所.
你是所有.
Take a breath.
你是合照.
你 and 和. Those are the anchor points.
你是合照.
Take a breath.
一场.
This is the last line of the song. This is the last word of the song. So don't close it off prematurely.
一张.
Don't just finish that way, right? Hold it out just a touch longer.
一张.
And you can add a vibrato if you want to, or just hold it out a little bit longer. And then when you finish the sound, that's when you pronounce the NG. You did it, my friends. We learned the entire song of 有一种悲伤. If you enjoyed this tutorial, be sure to leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. Check out the other song tutorials that I have here. And of course, if you like the way that I teach and you want to learn more about some of the concepts that I teach here, then be sure to check out my free Kickstarter course. Go to mysinginglife.com. All right, until next time, my friends, happy singing, have fun, bring more music into your life, and spread that good positive energy through music. All right, take care, everybody. Until next time.